All right, there we go. I guess I clicked the wrong button. I started a different stream on accident. Um, Looks like we're live now. Monday morning, December 13th. Start of a new week. I'm just gonna go in here and delete this other one. Let's see here. Happy Monday, everybody. How do I delete this channel? There we go. All right. A little tired this morning. Okay, I'm all good now. Figured it out. All right, what's up? 6-8 Spin Drifts here. Good morning. Sly Dev, what's up? Good morning. Risky Seeds. Happy Monday. Okay, so just wanted to do a little stream this morning, kind of update on what I'm looking at. Obviously, still holding my GameStop. I expected a little bit bigger last week. It looked like it was over the last month it came up and touched this 250 mark, and then it just started slowly falling after earnings, which we've seen before. I was talking with some friends over the weekend, and they were kind of wondering, how far this thing will slide after earnings, because it's, in the past too, kind of taking these dips. I don't know, but I mean, GameStop down here, at like, I guess if you wanted to wait to try to get in lower, last time the lowest it went, this was pre-earnings, but about 144. The lowest it's been since I think February-ish was about 130. So it's kind of getting down there. Not bad, even if you just wanted to swing trade it and try to get in down here low and just ride it up till the next pop. But it seems to be holding pretty well. These levels. In the past, somewhere in this 150 range. AMC, one that I've just been playing calls on occasionally, did kind of break through its previous support down here in the $29-$30 range. So I'm interested to see how those play out. But I am still holding GameStop. Same with Clove. It's been super frustrating, continuing just to watch this thing. There is a pretty decent gap up here to the 644 level, but I don't know. Clove, nothing's changed fundamentally. I still think Clove is a great long-term investment. It's just hasn't been panning out like I thought it was going to over the last couple months. Let's see here. Dennis D, what's up? Good morning. Junior Wills. Turts, what's up? Good morning. JJ, what's up? So, stocks that I'm looking at right now, and actually, Turks put me onto this first one. I'm gonna throw out here right now, but AVCT, okay. Just looking at this one. I just took a look at this one this morning. I'm gonna pull up the Ortex data on it right now. Gonna probably start building a position on this one today. If we look at the Ortex on this, and I got Ortex changed its software. I'm trying to get used to this view over here. There we go. All right, so cost to borrow is at 150, actually up to 284 this morning, 97% utilization. So there is also options on this one. If we take a look at, looks like Clove's max pain for this week's at $6. Max pain's at 250. Okay, so just to get a little bit of a background there, it does look like a squeeze play. The float size on this one's 22 million. And come in and just look at the options chain here. Not a ton going on, but considering the float size, there's already a ton in the money at 250. If it, because it is a squeeze play as well, if it starts getting some volume behind it and pushes past 5, I could see the option chain somewhat helping this out. I don't know that I'd be an options buyer right now, only because, one, this December 17th strike expires in 4 days, and you start coming out here, and that's pretty pricey, but that's because the IV is so damn high. So, does look like a decent play, though. It looks like it's got some momentum. It just crossed up here above the 50, and it did hit as high as $3. So let's see here. Coming back, it was trading as high as $9 back in January. Does look like it's got some strong momentum right now. So if volume keeps up, it hit 300 million volume on Friday. I could see this thing continuing to rip up, and then that's when that options chain would kind of come into play. So that's the first one I'm looking at right now. The other one is PTPI. I do have a position in this one that I bought into on Friday when it came down here, and I jumped in. I think I was in somewhere around like the 230 something range, 238, around there. And this looks to me very similar to like Prague. Obviously not the same chart, but after it kind of came down here and hit $1.19, we kind of see this like stair stepping, and it looks like it's ready to break out again. I'm thinking probably push up to 6 again at least. And that looks like it's the all-time high, or at least high of the year. So PTPI, pull up Vortex on that one. These are all squeeze plays that I have just been kind of grabbing small positions in. But let's see here. So with PTPI, we're looking at, again, cost to borrows through the roof, 380%. Short interest is decent, 26. 99% utilization. So, and extremely small float. So the float size is 10 million. It's got a decent enough price, to me at least. It looks like it's just starting to break out of this, it started consolidating down. It broke out on Friday. I think it's ready to rip back up. So I did jump in with a small position there. I'll be watching that one with the float size. If all of a sudden it sees a big uptick in volume, this thing could really blow. LGVN, I'm still playing. I think this was like last Tuesday or Wednesday when I talked about it the last time I did the stream. I jumped in here. I want to say my average price is somewhere in the 20s, 21-ish. But it's not showing that it's ready to reverse right now, but the numbers on this LGVN are insane. Again, this one does not have options, which neither does PTPI. I didn't mention that. Let's see here. So LGVN short interest has gone down a little bit. It's at 32% right now. But cost to borrow, again, almost 300%, 99 utilization. Kind of the same type of deal here. I think it's just gonna need a little bit of volume. We saw some volume back here. What was this, way back on November 18th? Almost 300 million in volume, and it's kind of been tapering down. But I think the next round of volume that pumps into this, we could probably see it go try to, capture new highs. So again, just looking at like from a risk reward standpoint, I am in this with shares. If we start to see a breakout, I think it's an easy opportunity to double money up at least. Float size is extremely small, 2.9 million. Now that being said, for me, I do have a stop loss set in at I think about 16. I put it right underneath this candle right here, so I think it's set at like about 1680. Okay, so I don't want to be holding this thing if it falls all the way back down to 280. That being said, I do think it's a good opportunity to kind of double up here. So let's see here. And the last one, the one that I think actually has the most promise this week, is ESSC. As you can see from the chart here, it's been on a steady climb from $10 since about November 23rd. It's had some nice pops in there. There was a day where it went from 10 to 12.80. Next day, 10.52 all the way up to 14.20, but it's just kind of slowly been rising up. I think if this thing breaks out of this high of 14.20 right here, which it actually is looking to open up above right now, where we at? That's this one right here. This morning it popped up to 17. So just to put it into perspective, we're going to be opening up way up here. Pull up the minute chart. This morning it came up and touched 17, and it's trading back down around 15. But the float size on this one is 2.6 million. Okay. And anyone who's been watching this stream for a while knows that I like kind of digging into the options chain too for these plays. And sometimes the option chain actually can work against these squeeze plays because it gives more opportunity to kind of manipulate. But with the float size on this one of 2.6 million, we take a look at the Ortex data on it real quick. We are looking at, where we at? 93 utilization. Cost to borrow is rather low right now. However, the options chain on this thing, so right around here at the 1250 mark, and this happened on Friday, 8,000 calls started outweighing puts on this December 17th chain. Just to put that into perspective, that's about 800,000 shares. That's almost half the float that went in the money at 1250. And now this morning it's looking to open up with another 700,000 shares going in the money at the $15 strike. So if this thing can hold above 15 today and continue to climb, maybe potentially start passing these other strikes, you're looking at gamma squeeze potential. Now you mix that in with the utilization rates and everything else, being that this is an extremely low float stock, who knows how high it can go. I would say if this thing does rip, we definitely see higher than 25, and I'm basing that based purely off the option chain. I'm just looking through to see what the other open interest looks like way out here in next year's December. There's a little bit right there too. But most of this is built into this week and next month. So ESSC, especially with these options expiring this week, I think it's a good play for this week. But I also think this is one that'll probably continue into next month as well. As this starts to build up. If I was gonna play options on this, they're pretty damn expensive right now with the IV being so damn high. You're looking at, I think the IV on the whole entire chain's 127. That's actually not too bad, but it's 300% on these December ones. So this doesn't really feel like a lotto ticket to me to buy something out here at $90, you know, and you need the stock to go up about 50% to even get those in the money. And the theta is just going to crush these. I would say, if you wanted to play options as opposed to just straight shares on this play, maybe at least give yourself out here to January. But even then, I'm looking at the March chain, and I'd rather give myself an extra 60 days just so that I still have that premium, the time premium built in, so that I don't get stuck holding these up till January. So that's what I'm looking at least. I am probably, I bought some ESSC calls last week. Today, I'm probably going to add in a little bit more. And really, I'm looking probably out here at wow. Just notice you can get these Julys cheaper than you can get the Junes. But I'll probably go much further out, and that way at least be out here in March or June and give myself some time to play this. So those are kind of the four that I'm watching right now. In terms of squeeze plays, I think like I said, AVCT just came on the radar this morning, and PTPI started playing last week. LGVN been in for a while. I do think it has the potential to keep running, but I think ESSC is showing the most strength this week. All right, let me see who else came in here this morning. Sam Moore, what's up? CFVI Rumble, great long-term investment. Yeah, that's the one. I know that one saw some movement last week. That's the SPAC that's going to take Rumble public, right? Turt says add SGMA. Let's see what's up with that one. Oh, shit. That thing almost doubled on Friday. What's going on with that? Sigmatron International. See if I can find some news on this one. Sigmatron. This is back on the 10th, so this is Friday. Reported favorable second quarter results, strong backlog and demand. What else is up with this play? Is it like a expects to close WAG's acquisition by end of calendar year? Okay. Skip C, what's up? Good morning. Your pal Al, what's up? Blue, buenos dias, what's up? Josh Stewart. Kelton says, what are you thinking for LGVN? I know this was an older comment, but yeah, I don't know about today, but I think that LGVN has strong numbers right now, and if it sees some volume, we could really see this thing take off. I don't know that we could put like an actual day on it. I mean, it could continue to kind of trade sideways, but it's kind of in this wedge right now that I think once it breaks out and sees some volume push back into it, that's when we're going to see it take off. But again, like I said a little while ago, I'm kind of protecting myself to the downside too. Okay, so Right now we're seeing this consolidation, this low point right here of what is this, like 1677. If all of a sudden we break below that, I'm pulling the plug and getting out. But I do think this is a decent entry point here, because if all of a sudden we break upwards, um, you know, and see this type of volume pour back in, we could really see this thing pop back and, go find some new highs. So that's what I'm playing on this one, at least. Noir says, watching engineering companies that often deal with natural disasters, ACM and FLR. I remember playing ACM about 2 years ago. That thing popped up this morning. And the other one you said was FLR. Both of these spiked up at about 356. Huh. I like that they're both kind of near all-time highs, too. What's the other one? ACM. I have to write those two down, because that's not a bad play, especially with the tornadoes and everything else that just happened. And so we're looking at earnings would be coming up again in February on ACM. And same, FLR. So potentially, I'm just going to look at the option chain on these. IV's extremely low. With February earnings. Yeah, I could see Noah, I'm just looking like probably gonna see better than expected earnings. I mean, this is just my based off of, what you're saying right now, dealing with natural disasters and all that. Potentially, coming out here at, the next earnings would be in February. If you get in here on March, you could play that run up into earnings. IV's hella low right now. Find a strike you like somewhere in here. Hold on one second. All right. I wanted to turn on. There we go. All right. So, I mean, going this far out, about 3 months out, I would say maybe you could play like a 0.3 delta, which would be like these $80 strikes. That's for ACM. If we look at FLR, I would kind of do the same thing. Looks like there's no, where would we go? December, January. Damn. And then you'd have to go to April. But probably be in the same range, maybe like these $30 strikes. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad play, because then if you get a nice rip up between now and then, you could just sell those, roll them out and up if you're still bullish on it and you still want to play in the earnings, or just take the profits. But it'll give you enough time so that if you're wrong and it starts breaking downwards, you're not going to be sitting at zero on those calls. You can kind of still, have some time premium left in them to kind of cut them and not lose out 100%. So I like that. I might actually jump in on or at least do some more research on it this morning. Kelton says, I've got 1,000 plus shares of LGVN, in around 20 a share. believe the short interest is way off. Ortex is already factoring in latest offering. Yeah. But even with the Ortex numbers the way they are right now, Ortex on LGVN is showing. I mean, I know it was at like 80% or something like that last week. But even without that, right now, estimated short interest is 32%. So, I mean, it's still got almost half the float on loan. It's at like 47% shares on loan. So even if it is being factored in, like you're saying, the numbers are still great, you know. So I mean, but the way it was with that 80% was even crazier. But yeah, I think you could definitely. I'm reading your thing that you wrote it up to 45, sold and got back in. Absolutely. I played LGVN. I think Al Trades had called it out one day, and I jumped in and day traded it and kind of wrote it up. This was on that run up to 45, but I just jumped back in last week, kind of in the same ballpark in the 20s. David Cho, what's up? Pete, good morning. Kenneth Wallace. Josh says, is DraftKings gonna reverse soon? Man, so it did come when it came down here and hit this bottom. I think this was last Monday, Friday or Monday. Let's see. Yeah. I jumped in when I saw it kind of reverse off this. This was a line that I had previously drawn from. Let's see here. Got to go out to a weekly view to find it. But as potential support if it was ever to fall through here, which it did. But it did bounce off this old kind of support level. So I think that it potentially already has. We're looking at a weekly view right now. I jumped in and grabbed some calls again. Was it on Monday? It might have been here. No, I think it was Monday because I took some profits up here and then I re-entered the other half that I held on to and kind of averaged back down. But I am holding on to some DraftKings calls right now. I think that potentially it has. However, if it falls through this level, who knows how low it'll go. I mean, it's just, I think it's in one of those. I mean, football season's upon us. That's when they usually make their money. I would expect that they would have better earnings leading into February. That's why I initially jumped into that play back here. Was to play the February earnings. Luckily I was able to get out twice. And then I had some $80 calls that ended up burning that I bought somewhere around here. But that's it. And that's why so is it gonna reverse? I have no clue. I would imagine so. I mean, being down as low as it is right now, we're talking about low of the year right now. So not all time lows, but lows of the year. AVCT looks like it's getting some volume right now too. But anyways, I guess I should say so. Like when I jumped into this play here, um, I think I bought like 60. Could be wrong, like $60 strikes, maybe even $55 strikes. And when it ripped up, you know, these things were set to expire in February, and we're talking about in August. So I still had 6 months left on these calls. Um, the reason why I don't hold and I always take profits is because you never know what's going to come next. So when it ripped up, what I did was I sold. Um, and I don't remember the exact numbers. I know I talked about this on a video a while back, so I'll just give you some kind of hypothetical numbers. If you bought these for $100 a piece down here, it rips up, and now all of a sudden you're sitting on these calls with all kinds of time left. Um, that are pretty much in the money, and now they're trading for 600 a piece. So you 6 times your money. Yeah, you can hold these for another 6 months. But what I ended up doing was I sold, took the profits, and then bought further out strikes. So I think I went with like $70 strikes from this point for about $100 a piece again, and then played this next rip up. Those ended up being worth like 5 times the amount. Sold those, and ended up buying $80 strikes. Now, even though this didn't reach 80, and that last set of calls that I bought expired worthless, because as you can see, the play ended up going downhill. What I was able to do on that run up was put 5 times profit away, and then put 4 times profit away. So really, at the end of the day, I almost made 9 times profit off that first $100 per call. And again, I'm using a hypothetical right now, but I know it did kind of play out somewhere around there. Is what I ended up doing on DraftKings. And the reason I'm bringing that back up is I just want to illustrate how important it is to always take profits, and always, it's very easy with options to to look and say, okay, well, I'm up 60% now or 100% now, and if I hold on to these, I'll be up 1,000% or whatever if it hits this mark. But you could still price yourself into those big moves by just going up and out, or just up. Or sometimes I'll even go up and in. And what I mean by that is, we're looking at FLR right now, but either way, let's just say I have the April calls, and I bought them a long time ago for the $20 strike, and now all of a sudden these things are huge in the money. And I bought these for 100, and now they're selling for 560. That's 5 times my money. I still think that the play has room to run to 30. I could sell these, and if I just want to go short term, even I can go up and in. So I can go, up to January now and go for these 30s and get them for 25 cents. And now I'm still leaving some meat out there. I'm still part of the play if it has a big move in the short term. But I just put a ton of my initial capital and my profit in my pocket. So that's usually how I like to play those, is when you get the big rip, take your profits and then still throw a little bit out there, depending on what you think is going to happen with the stock. But I know I got off way off way off base. But Josh, I would hope DraftKings is going to reverse soon. I mean, I'm sitting on some calls right now that I just kind of rebought into. So Zeke, what's up? Good morning. Zeke says close. Let's hit $5 this week. Man, it is it's pretty crazy, just even to sit here and think about, where Clove is trading at right now, kind of in this $4 range. And it seems like just yesterday we were sitting here talking about getting back into the $9, when we were trading, bouncing around here. Max pain for the week we did look at earlier is at $6. So it's got about 50% to move to get back up there. Let me just make sure that that's correct. But that's fluid too, right? So it changes every day. If all of a sudden you see a bunch of call buying coming in at the $5 strikes and everything, the 450s. Is there still 450s on here? Let me see. Yeah, and the 450s and those getting loaded up, you'll see max pain creep down and a new number kind of emerge there. But max pain's at 6 this week, which is pretty promising considering where we're trading at. That actually leaves quite a bit of room to run up. See, Zeke says, I think IWM bounces hard this week. Clove's been following it super closely. I want to say, is IWM? Yeah. So I ended up was it IWM? Let me get on here and check real quick. So I was watching options flows on Thursday and Friday and just kind of looking for some options plays, and I want to say it was IWM. Somewhere down here I saw a huge order come through for the 220 call expiring on it was the 220 call expiring on Friday. And as this thing started pulling back up, so I just grabbed some contracts as we were down here for super cheap. I want to say they were like 30 cents a piece. And as we kind of approached up here to like the 219-ish area, they ended up selling for about 80 or something like that. So not bad. But that was one. IWM was one of the plays I was kind of day trading with options on a Friday. But yeah, that would be nice if Clove kind of follows it up, because I know IWM looked like it kind of bounced up here. Noir says company that started with a P. Yeah, it was PTPI. All right. So yeah, anybody who joined late, it's three or four, I should say. 4 squeeze plays that I'm kind of keeping an eye on right now. AVCT, I do not have a position in, but that looks pretty nice. I mean, it did create some gaps to the downside now, that it may potentially try to fill, but looks like it's got a lot of momentum if this volume keeps up. I could see that one continuing to roll. PTPI, I am sitting on some shares. Had a nice breakout on Friday. I'm thinking that it's going to try to, attempt to cross this 522 and find a new all-time high. Or I shouldn't say all-time. All-time's back here. That would be nice, though, to see it get up there to 6. LGVN, I've been sitting in for a while. I think if it can break out of this area right here, looks like it got as high as 25 on Thursday. But if it can break out of this, I'd like to see it obviously run up and touch this 45 and maybe break through there. But ESSC is the one that I really think has the momentum right now. As you can see, it's just kind of been slowly climbing up. It's extremely low float, 2.6 million, with a ton of open interest on the options chain. All right. Just looking around right now. So ESSC did come up and hit 17 earlier. And it's kind of just flattening out. I might actually add on to some options on this one once the market opens here. Check out the SPY real quick. I think it's safe to say we're potentially going on for another run at a new high. I mean, if you just look at the way it's played out over the course of the last year, comes down and touches this SMA, sometimes dips below. Everybody thinks the world's getting ready to end. The last time it crossed underneath, it was like, bear territory. And it was starting to feel the same way. This was, I think, like right after Thanksgiving, somewhere in here. We had this big drop, came down. I'd say we broke out of it again, and every time it does, it kind of goes on a nice little bull run. So I think we're past that dip right now. The market's gonna go find a new high before it comes down and scares the shit out of everybody again. So it should be a fun week. You know, if the S&P keeps ripping and everything else keeps moving. Turt says pre-market on AVCT is almost 7 million. Is it that high already? Yeah, 6.9. So I mean, shit, if this thing, just looking over here, volume wise, it had 153 million on Thursday. It had 292 million on Friday. I mean, if the volume keeps up on that one, I think you're absolutely right. We're going to be looking at, another huge day. So, and it does have options on it, which I just, that IV is through the roof right now. I don't know that I'd necessarily be in there buying any, but where we at right now? For $5, I would say that's pretty decent lotto play. I don't know. I mean, you get in there for $5, and all of a sudden you can potentially make some make a decent amount if it goes blowing by there. So it still has a lot of room to run though in order to do that, but I don't know. I think shares is probably the way to go here. Let's see here. All right. Just going to check out my scanner real quick and see if we see anything else kind of popping up this morning. I know I saw some news on, I think Harley popped up this morning, 42 on like some acquisition news. And looks like that one's continuing to run. That might be a good one for some day trading potential this morning. The other one that I saw that really popped out at me this morning was Blue. Same thing. This one, I believe, that was almost an hour ago when I read about this one, but announced its phase 2, achieved its primary endpoint. So just kind of like research news, but up off a 560 close. It's at 810 right now, and I want to say the float size on this one is 68 million. Not bad. So that one could be a runner today, or potentially, let me see here, back this out. So it's actually looking to open up at wow. So that's really interesting. So this is BLU. Again, this is just one that came up on the scanner this morning, and it's opening up above this kind of prior resistance level at 770. If it starts continuing upwards, there's a gap all the way up to 950 that it may look to fill. Wow. Look at the options chain on this too. Well, the IV's through the roof already. 575 for 4 days from now. And again, keep in mind that it's moved so much, these numbers are going to change big time once the market opens. That's pretty interesting too. Noah says, you're my boy, Blue. Zeke, all right, nice to see you. I'm probably going to head out here now too. It looks like we're about 6:15, so some plays that I'm going to kind of take a look at. ACM and FLR, those ones you told me about. I'm going to check into those, but I'm still going to be watching those squeeze plays, and I'm kind of intrigued by this blue right now. Just looking at this weekly chart. If this thing starts to move, especially with that options chain kind of sitting there behind it, and these 6,000 calls right here just went into the money this morning. If it crosses 10, things could really get exciting. Looks like it's got even more open interest in the January chain. Yeah, I like it. All right, so I'll check one more. Noah says BFRI. Wow. This is another squeeze play. Already went 5 times. Looks like it's set to open up somewhere right around here right now. That one could be pretty interesting this today too. If I'm not mistaken, the float size on BFRI, yeah, 3.6 million. So definitely could be a runner or will be a runner today as well. So thanks for throwing that one on the radar too. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. Go get the kids ready for school, all that good stuff. Thanks for joining. Definitely try to do this again a couple times this week, and hopefully start getting back on a new schedule. But thank you again. Everybody have a great day in the markets, great week in the markets. Hopefully we'll see some of these plays, these long-term plays start reversing too.